You are standing on the bridge of a cruise ship at 2 in the morning. The ocean ahead is completely black. No shoreline, no horizon, no reference point. Behind you, more than 4,000 people are asleep in their cabins. And the one thing you might assume the ship would have, a powerful beam of light cutting through the dark, is completely absent. Not because it broke, not because someone forgot, because the people who designed this vessel already ran the numbers and headlights lost. Why can't ships use headlights? Here is the math that kills the idea. A car headlight works on a simple principle. You project light forward, it hits something, and a fraction of that light bounces back toward your eyes. At highway speeds, roughly 300 feet of clear visibility is enough. You spot the obstacle, your foot hits the brake, and you stop in time. Now take that same logic and drop it onto open ocean. A fully loaded cargo vessel underway at sea does not stop in 300 feet. It does not stop in 300 yards. A ship traveling at normal cruising speed needs more than a mile of open water to come to a complete halt, roughly the length of 14 football fields laid end to end. So for a headlight to actually work at sea, it would need to illuminate 14 football fields of open water, clearly enough to identify another vessel, in total darkness, through salt spray and rain and fog. The beam required to do that would have to be almost incomprehensibly powerful. And even then, it would fail. Light does not travel across open water the way it travels down a highway. A beam crossing miles of open sea expands as it travels, thinning out until almost nothing reaches the far end. And what does reach it has almost nothing to bounce off cleanly. The signal comes back so faint it disappears into background noise. The headlight idea does not just underperform on the ocean, it collapses the moment you do the arithmetic. How do ships see instead? That failure leads directly to the question the entire maritime lighting system is built around. If you cannot illuminate the water ahead of you, what do you do instead? The answer requires a complete shift in thinking, and once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Ships do not try to light up the darkness in front of them, they light up themselves. A car headlight is an outward tool. Its purpose is to reach into the dark and bring something back. A ship's navigation light works on the opposite principle. Its job is to announce the ship's presence, position, and direction to every other vessel within range without a single word of radio communication in real time from miles away. Instead of projecting a beam powerful enough to cross miles of ocean and return, you only need a light bright enough for someone already scanning the horizon to pick up. A fraction of the energy. And it has worked across centuries of maritime history. But presence is only the beginning of what the system communicates. What do navigation lights say? The navigation light arrangement on a large vessel is a language, an actual standardized, internationally agreed upon communication system, written in colored light and geometry, readable from miles away by any trained officer on any flagged vessel in the world. Here is how you read it. 2 white lights sit on the ship's centerline, one mounted forward near the bow, one mounted aft toward the stern. The aft light is positioned higher than the forward one. When those 2 lights appear side by side at different heights, you are looking at the ship from the side. When they stack almost directly on top of each other, the ship's bow is pointed straight at you. Then there are the side lights. Red on the port side, the left side of the ship as you face forward. Green on the starboard side, the right. Each light shines through a fixed arc of 112.5 degrees, covering exactly half the horizon around the vessel. The red is only visible off the ship's left half. The green only off the right. If you can see both colors simultaneously, the ship is heading straight at you. That combination is not informational, it is a prompt for immediate action. At the stern, a single white light covers the gap. If that lone white light is all you see, the ship is moving away from you. You are overtaking it. That single distinction, 1 white light versus 2, determines which maritime rules apply and who holds right of way in that moment. Every officer who has ever stood a bridge watch anywhere in the world reads this system the same way. You now know that every light on a ship's hull is a sentence in a language read from miles away. But here's what nobody tells you. At night, a properly run ship turns off almost every other light it has, on purpose. The reason comes down to something happening inside the human eye, and it changes how you think about darkness entirely. Why do ships go dark? Here is the detail that stops most people cold. A properly run vessel at sea does not just avoid headlights, it actively suppresses almost every light on board. Bridge lighting drops to the minimum needed to read instruments. Exterior deck lights get switched off. Doors to lit interior spaces stay shut. The ship is intentionally as dark as it can be while still showing its required navigation lights. Your instinct says that is reckless. More light should mean more safety. That instinct is wrong. Your eyes do not switch instantly between day and night vision. Full dark adaptation takes 20 to 30 minutes of uninterrupted low light, and when it completes, a human eye can detect a single candle flame from over a mile away. At sea, that means picking up a navigation light from several miles out, enough distance to matter. But one moment of bright light, a flashlight, a phone screen, a door left open to a lit corridor, and that adaptation collapses in seconds. Your night vision resets entirely. An officer on a darkened bridge can track lights across miles of open water. The same officer with interior lights on can barely see past the bow rail. The bridge crew above you is working in near total blackness, not because something failed, but because darkness is the instrument they are using. How was this system built? The navigation light system you just learned did not arrive fully formed. It was built through wreck after wreck, collision after collision, across the better part of the 19th century. Before standardization, vessels carried lights in inconsistent configurations. Merchant ships, naval vessels, and fishing boats each had their own conventions. And when two vessels operating under different assumptions met in the dark, the results were sometimes catastrophic. Each collision produced an inquiry. Each inquiry hardened into a proposed rule. Each rule got argued over by maritime nations until a version survived that everyone could accept. By the late 1800s, the Corps had locked into international agreement: red for port, green for starboard, 2 white masthead lights with the aft one higher, a single white stern light to close the gap. Those rules have held through sail, steam, diesel, radar, and satellite navigation because the physics underneath them has not changed. Light travels in straight lines. The human eye has a fixed field of view. Vessels still need to communicate orientation without words across distances where voice is useless. The rules were not preserved out of tradition. They were preserved because they still work. Where does light fall short? Everything you just learned assumes one condition: that someone is looking. In clear weather, the system performs exactly as designed. A dark adapted officer picks up navigation lights from miles away, reads the geometry, and acts. But in dense fog, a navigation light vanishes within a few hundred feet. In heavy rain, colors blur. In a major shipping lane with dozens of vessels moving at once, the human eye can only hold so many light sources before the picture becomes unreadable. So what does that cruise ship do when it is transiting a fog-bound channel in zero visibility with 40 other vessels doing the same thing? The answer is not a bigger light. The answer is a system that does not use light at all. A web of radar pulses, radio transponders, and digital positioning data that builds a live map of every vessel within range, regardless of weather, regardless of darkness, regardless of whether anyone on the other ship is watching. That invisible layer is why ocean collisions are far rarer than the conditions would suggest. And the way it works carries the same counterintuitive logic as everything you just learned about why ships go dark instead of lighting up. If there's something you walk past every day and wonder about, drop it in the comments. We read every single one, and the best suggestions make it into future videos. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.